Hi and welcome back. This is part 2 of my video about how to care for winter skin. Last time we looked at gentle rinse off, new generation hydrating gel, balm, oil cleansers, and this time we're looking at peels. Just as you might neglect to change your cleanser when your skin feels dry and tight, either when you're traveling or it's winter or it's cold or you're skiing, anyway, this time of year, you might also either stop exfoliating, stop using an acid lotion or toner or overnight peel or mask, or you might just not think about changing it and then afterwards just think, oh, my skin feels extra sensitive or itchy or it's tingling more than normal, and that's simply because in winter your barrier function is under pressure. Your barrier function is your skin's ability to fend off cold weather, pollution, irritation, anything that might land on it that might irritate it, and also its ability to keep water in, which is what it needs as much as possible at this time of year. And if that is impaired, then your normal acid lotion or toner or glycolic will tingle more, just as your retinol will. So should you stop exfoliating at this time of year? The answer is most definitely no. I get so many DMs and emails from people saying, my skin's oily, but I've got these sort of dry patches here and here and here, and I don't know what to do because I keep putting moisturiser on. And I just say, it's very hard for oily skin to have dry patches unless you're not exfoliating, because what it is it's actually not dry skin, it's a build-up of dead skin. And the same thing can happen to dry skin as well in winter. You can get a build-up where you're using heavier and heavier moisturisers of dead skin, and what you need to do is basically exfoliate it away, and that enables your skin to then absorb what is put back on it. And these are the products to do it as gently as possible. And the first thing I'm going to mention is a brand new beautiful Kiehls product, and this is Daily Refining Milk Peel Toner. And it kind of breaks all my rules, because my rule with using a really gentle exfoliant is probably to go lactic acid, polyhydroxy acid or enzyme rather than glycolic or salicylic, which are normally formulated for deep peels, more effective anti-aging discoloration peels, and also for spots in terms of salicylic. But yet somehow this works, and it's because it's all about the formulation. Although the active ingredient is salicylic acid, in the sense that that's actually the acid that is exfoliating the skin, it's just loaded with almond milk, glycerin, hydrators. You can tell the fact that it's biphasic and you have to shake it to use it, that you're getting a level of humectants and emollients and then the active acid ingredient. And it's really lovely to use. Now, I'll be really honest with you, you're actually supposed to use it on a cotton wool pad. Who does that nowadays? I don't. I literally just stick it on the back of my hand and in the palm of my hand. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to turn it really quickly before it turns around. And then I just rub it in. And I would use it, I'm actually using it at night. And it's instantly hydrating. It doesn't feel anything like a sort of a normal essence or a toner at all that is astringent. It's super hydrating, lightly fragrance, but not really heavily at all. And it's just really lovely. Your skin looks beautiful straight away. I'm not surprised they recommend to use it morning and night. Personally, I don't use acids in the morning, but I know a lot of people who do because they quite like that glow. You get a slight tingle straight away, but that kind of goes within about a minute. What you end up with is hydrated and smoother, softer skin when you wake up in the morning. It works really well under peptides, under hyaluronic acid, under moisturisers, under night masks. It's just a really nice, gentle daily acid to use. I really like it. It's kind of a unique formulation because most of those daily acids are, to me, they're too powerful to use every day, and I never really understand people using acids in the morning and then putting makeup on top, because the idea is, I think an acid is best left on overnight while you sleep so it can gently exfoliate while you sleep, and then you wake up in the morning and you cleanse, and then you end up with really beautiful hydrated soft skin that hydrates and exfoliates at the same time. Well done, Kiehls. I really like it. It's part of their dermatologist solutions, which are all my favourite within the Kiehls range. Other things that I think you should look at that are brand new, and then I'll go on to some classics as well. I really like, I mentioned this cleanser in my last video, I really like the Arborio Milk and Peel Mask. Now this is a 5-minute kaolin clay-based mask, and I know what you're going to think. You're going to think, well, that means it's far too astringent for my dehydrated, dry, winter-suffering skin, but it's not. It doesn't set hard, it doesn't go tight, it doesn't crack. It actually simply gives your skin a beautiful glow. It gently hydrates, but it mainly exfoliates, but it exfoliates super gently. I put this right around my nose, right up around my eyes. I got absolutely zero tingle or redness with it. The interesting thing about any mask is please don't forget to take right down here and here. The reason I say that is because you would be amazed at how grubby most people's necks are. People do not cleanse their necks properly. And quite often people say to me, what do you do about these bands around your neck? And I say, before you consider any intervention, try actually cleansing your neck properly. Every so often I get my cashmere head out on my Clarisonic, and I'm amazed at how much brighter this area becomes. Anyway, so I used this morning before filming, and it's a really lovely, super gentle, non-drying kaolin, but also just really gentle acids mask. It's a really nice one. I think what Arborio are doing in skincare is really interesting, and it's one to watch. So this one is a combination of 3 different types of really gentle acids and loads of glycerin and sesame seed oil in a kaolin base. Now, let's go back to the more traditional products that have been around for a while that I think you can use at this time of year. You know I'm a huge fan of the Good Genes Lactic Acid Sunday Riley, and this follows my rule of try to look for a more gentle acid than generally salicylic, even though I have just mentioned a salicylic acid there, and a glycolic acid. And the reason I say that is because lactic acid is just much more hydrating. It hydrates as it exfoliates. And if you're in America and you can get hold of the Good Genes lactic acid, it's pretty strong, so go gently, but I do think it hydrates at the same time as it exfoliates. So it's a really nice one. I love it. I always pick it up when I'm in the States. There are other cheaper versions on the market. Garden of Wisdom have a lactic acid, and actually so do the INKEY List, but I don't have it. Now, a lot of you are huge fans of Garden of Wisdom, and when I missed off mentioning Garden of Wisdom in my recent vitamin C video, everybody was like, oh, what's wrong with the vitamin C Ferulic from Garden of Wisdom? Nothing. I just didn't have it in my office at the time because I'd already used it. Anyway, let me just show you the lactic acid 5% from Garden of Wisdom. It's completely clear, and it's a lightweight gel that you would just put over your skin at night and sleep in. It's really lovely. It doesn't smell pleasant. Hello, Yogi. It doesn't smell pleasant, but it's effective, and it's really reasonably priced. Now, the INKEY List one is more milky, but it's a really lovely product. I've got a picture of it and I'll drop it in here. I just don't have it at the moment because I used it all. It was by the side of my bed most of the summer, and I really like it as a overnight sleep-in acid. However, the other one I'm going to mention is if you don't find a lactic acid, you can always have a polyhydroxy acid. There's the INKEY List polyhydroxy acid. Lactic acid is derived from milk, salicylic is derived from willow bark, glycolic is derived from sugarcane. Polyhydroxy acid is completely man-made, but has been deliberately formulated it's a combination of either 2 or 3 acids, and it's been formulated to be as gentle as possible on the skin. So I really like the polyhydroxy acid toner. Personally, I'm not a fan of acid toners. I prefer them either in a water or a mask or a gel or a milk to leave on overnight, but that's a really nice one to use. Again, I would just put it in my hand. I bother using cotton pads with any of these. And then Garden of Wisdom also have a PHA plus serum. So the simple rule with winter exfoliation is don't forget to do it, but choose a gentle form of an acid. So choose a lactic acid or a polyhydroxy acid because they both hydrate as they exfoliate. Or choose a more traditional acid, but choose it in a milky hydrating glycerin base. So something like the Kiehls or the Arborio both have added humectants and moisturisers in it. Or what you could do is try an enzyme instead. I've talked about this before. Acids actually work to break the bond between dead skin cells, and salicylic acid actually goes into the pores because it's lipophilic, it's attracted to oil. An enzyme actually eats the dead skin cells. So an acid breaks the bonds and an enzyme eats the dead skin cells. And by far and away, one of my favourite overnight acids is Murad Hydration Night Fix Enzyme Treatment. If you look at the ingredients, the enzymes are pretty low down. It's quite expensive, but I do like the way that Murad formulate their products. So they are my rules to winter exfoliation. please carry on doing it. Just do it gently. Use the right acid. I suggest probably polyhydroxy or lactic acid if you're using a single acid product, or use a more traditional acid. It could be glycolic, but it'll probably be salicylic or a mix of acids, but in a hydrating base. Something that looks milky, something that when you turn it over, look on the INKEY list for things like sesame seed oil, almond milk, glycerin, something like that. That will make it far more hydrating. Or go for an enzyme, but go for a gentle enzyme. Don't go for something that's formulated to leave on your skin for 10 minutes because it's going to be loaded with bromelain and papain, which are really strong tingly enzymes. Go for something that's been designed to be left on overnight. It'll be much more gentle. Something like the Murad Night Fix Enzyme Treatment. I will put all the products down below with all of the details, and let me know what you're currently using. I know that I was unwell over Christmas. I had a chest infection for 3 weeks, and I kind of just left my skin alone, and I didn't really wear makeup, so I was just sort of perfunctorily cleansing it at the end of the day, probably with a gel cleanser. And I know that after 3 weeks my skin looked really grey and really dull, and what it really needed was to get back into being exfoliated regularly, and that was a bit of a skin saver for me. I do really like it. They are my current favourite super gentle winter sensitive dehydrated skin exfoliants. Thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Bye.